Chosen one, God is intervening to keep you safe. Trust it. When you walk through this life carrying a light that is unlike anything else in the world, you will often find yourself in situations where unseen forces move around you, where doors close for reasons you do not understand, where people suddenly exit your life, and where your plans are interrupted in ways that feel confusing. But this is not random. This is not chaos. This is not misfortune. This is divine protection. It is God's hand moving through your path, redirecting you, shielding you, and placing you exactly where you need to be to continue your journey. You are not left unguarded. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. The one who called you has not left you to fend for yourself. Even in silence, even in stillness, even in moments where you wonder why something fell apart, the truth is that God is intervening to keep you safe, and your task is to trust it. Before we go any deeper, I want to encourage you, chosen one, to stay with this message until the very end, because this is not just a message for your mind, it is energy for your spirit. As you listen, your awareness will open, and you will begin to recognize the ways you are being guided. I also invite you to leave in the comments your warmest wishes, not only for yourself, but for all who are walking this journey with you. Write down your blessings, your hopes, and include the number 66 as a sign of your alignment and your intention to release energy into the universe. This is a sacred act, a declaration that your wishes are alive, and as you write them, you energize them. You activate their vibration, and the universe takes notice. Do not underestimate the power of declaring your wishes in alignment with divine energy. They are seeds that move into the soil of possibility, and in due time, they bear fruit. Now let us turn deeply to the theme of this message. Chosen one, when God intervenes in your life, it is rarely in a way that is loud, obvious, or dramatic to the outside world. Most of the time, His intervention appears ordinary on the surface, yet it carries extraordinary power in the unseen. You may experience a delay that frustrates you, but that delay is the hand of God keeping you from harm that you could not have predicted. You may lose an opportunity that you thought was meant for you, but in truth, that opportunity carried with it traps, burdens, or hidden dangers that would have weighed you down. You may find yourself isolated, separated from certain people or environments, but that isolation is not punishment, it is protection. The chosen ones walk a path where every detail is guarded, where every step is overseen, and where no force of darkness can touch you without permission. This is why so many times your life does not unfold the way you expected. It is because there is something higher at work, and this higher work is designed to keep you safe. Consider for a moment the times in your life where something ended abruptly. Perhaps it was a friendship, a relationship, a job, a plan that simply dissolved without explanation. In those moments, it may have hurt. You may have asked, why? Why would this happen now, when I was so invested, when I was so ready? But with time, perspective begins to reveal what you could not see before. You look back and realize that the very thing you thought you wanted would have drained you, broken you, or taken you off the course of your destiny. That is intervention. That is the evidence of a hand greater than yours, rearranging the circumstances to preserve your energy, your peace, and your future. Chosen ones must understand this deeply. You are not in control of every detail, and that is a blessing. Because if you were, you might have chosen the very things that would have destroyed you. God intervenes to keep you safe from yourself, from others, and from forces you cannot even perceive. This safety is not always about physical harm, though it often is. There are countless times when chosen ones have been rerouted, delayed, or moved in ways that prevented them from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. You may never know the accidents, the betrayals, the traps that were set against you, but failed because you were redirected. But beyond physical safety, God is also protecting your mind, your spirit, and your mission. Every chosen one carries a purpose, and that purpose is too valuable to be wasted on distractions. This is why you may feel cut off from people you once trusted. It is why the wrong friendships dissolve and the wrong environments close their doors. Not because you are unloved, but because your spirit cannot be entangled with energies that are not aligned with your purpose. God sees further than you can see. He sees the intentions of hearts, the hidden plots, the subtle dangers, and He intervenes even when you do not realize it. Trust is the central requirement here, because without trust, the interventions of God can feel like constant loss. If you do not trust, you will interpret protection as punishment. You will see closed doors as rejection rather than redirection. You will feel abandoned when in reality, you are being shielded. Chosen ones are often placed in situations that do not make sense in the moment. And the only way through them without bitterness is trust. Trust is the bridge between confusion and clarity. Trust is what allows you to rest even when you cannot see the reason. Trust is what transforms a setback into safety, a delay into destiny, a loss into liberation. Trust is not passive. It is an active surrender, a decision to say, I do not understand this now, but I choose to believe that I am being guided. And when you live with that kind of trust, peace becomes your companion, even in uncertainty. You must also realize that your safety does not mean you will never face challenges. Being chosen does not mean a life without difficulty. In fact, it often means more challenges, because your light attracts both opposition and resistance. But even within those challenges, there is safety. You may walk through fire, but it will not consume you. You may face storms, but they will not drown you. The intervention of God is not always about removing the challenge. Sometimes it is about preserving you within it. It is about giving you strength you did not know you had, clarity you could not have found on your own, and resilience that carries you beyond what others thought possible. Safety does not always look like avoidance. Sometimes it looks like endurance. Sometimes it is the ability to walk through the valley without being destroyed by it. And in that, too, God is intervening. Chosen one, understand also that your protection is a testimony. There are people who watch you, who cannot understand how you survived what should have destroyed you. They see you still standing, still moving forward, still carrying light, and they wonder why. What they do not see is the countless interventions behind the scenes. They do not see the nights you were held when no one else knew your pain. They do not see the moments when doors closed and you thought it was over, but in reality, you were being redirected towards something greater. Your very survival is evidence that you are not walking this path alone. And every time you come out of a trial unharmed, you become a living testimony of divine protection. There is also a hidden wisdom in divine intervention. Many times, chosen ones are protected from things they think they want. You may long for certain connections, opportunities, or experiences, and yet they do not manifest. It can feel like frustration, like delay, like unanswered longing. But in reality, it is wisdom, God knows what you cannot know. He knows what lies ahead in paths you cannot see. He knows which connections are genuine and which are disguised traps. He knows which opportunities would elevate you and which would entangle you in unnecessary battles. And so, out of love, He intervenes. He withholds what would harm you. He redirects you toward what will sustain you. And though it may sting in the moment, though you may feel forgotten, the truth is you are being cared for at a level beyond your understanding. Chosen one, pause and reflect. How many times have you been kept safe without realizing it until later? How many times did you only see the reason after the fact? This is the pattern of divine intervention. It is often invisible in the present, but undeniable in hindsight. And as you begin to recognize this, your trust deepens. You begin to see that even in moments of disappointment, there is safety. Even in endings, there is protection. Even in loss, there is preservation. And this awareness changes the way you walk. You no longer live in fear of what might happen, because you know you are covered. You no longer cling to what is not meant for you, because you know release is protection. You no longer doubt the silence, because you know silence is not absence. It is hidden work. As you continue on your path, remember that being chosen means being guarded. Not because you are fragile, but because your mission matters. You are carrying something that the world needs, and therefore your steps are monitored with care. Trust the interventions, trust the delays, trust the endings, trust even the loneliness. It is all a part of your safety. You are not alone, chosen one. The one who called you is still guiding you, still intervening, still keeping you safe. Trust it and walk with peace. Chosen one, God is intervening to keep you safe. Trust it. Safety is not always something you can see in the moment. It is not always something you can measure with your senses. Many times, divine safety looks like stillness, like silence, like being kept hidden away. You may feel invisible. You may wonder why your life is not moving at the speed you desire, why the opportunities you thought were yours do not unfold, why connections drift away from you. But this invisibility is not punishment. It is shelter. It is a covering that prevents you from being exposed to forces that would try to crush you prematurely. The light within you is meant to shine, but timing is everything. And until the right moment comes, God hides you so that when you are revealed, nothing can dim the radiance you carry. Your hidden seasons are seasons of protection. They are interventions designed to preserve your strength until the exact moment you are called forward. When you are chosen, your life is marked by interruptions that others do not experience. The paths of ordinary people may flow smoothly in ways that seem enviable from the outside. They appear to get what they want when they want it. But chosen ones are guided differently. You are not allowed to walk into traps disguised as blessings. You are not permitted to be entangled with what would destroy you. And so your path will be interrupted again and again. Sometimes it will frustrate you. Sometimes it will break your heart. But every interruption is divine surgery, removing what looks appealing but is not meant for you, and keeping you aligned with what is destined. Safety is not always comfort. Safety is not always what you would have chosen, but it is always what you need. Every step is filtered through divine eyes that see far beyond your own. You may ask yourself why you face so many sudden shifts in your life. Why do relationships collapse without warning? Why do plans that felt secure unravel overnight? Why do opportunities vanish after being so close to manifesting? The answer is that chosen ones cannot afford to be bound by illusions. If something is not rooted in truth, if someone is not aligned with your purpose, if an environment is secretly toxic, God will not allow it to hold you. He intervenes by breaking it apart, often before you even know why. It may feel cruel, but in time you will see the mercy. Because left unchecked, those very things would have drained your light. They would have distracted your focus. They would have consumed your strength. Safety sometimes comes in the form of endings, and endings are nothing more than divine beginnings in disguise. There is another layer of intervention that chosen ones experience: unseen redirection. Have you ever noticed how certain desires fade without explanation? How something you once thought you could not live without suddenly loses its hold on you? That, too, is intervention. It is God removing the pull of something that does not serve you. He shifts your desires, alters your focus, and frees you from attachments that were never meant to define you. And in doing so, He protects you not only from external harm, but from the chains within your own heart. Because sometimes, the greatest danger to a chosen one is not outside forces, but the internal cravings that would lead you astray. Intervention is both external and internal. It is not only about what happens around you, but what happens within you. And every shift, every release, every change of desire is part of the safety you are being given. Chosen one, understand that your journey is sacred. Sacred journeys cannot be rushed. They cannot be careless. They cannot be left unguarded. You are being led step by step, and each step is deliberate. This is why certain doors that seem perfect to you never open. This is why some people never return to your life, no matter how much you may long for them. This is why places you once thought you would thrive in no longer welcome you. It is not rejection, it is precision. Every movement is calculated to protect not only your life, but the energy you carry. You have been entrusted with a mission, and God is intervening to make sure that mission is not compromised. Trust this, even when it hurts. Trust it, even when it confuses you. Trust it, even when it feels lonely. Because loneliness is often the sign that you are being separated for something higher. It is also important to see how safety operates in timing. The chosen ones often feel delayed. You may wonder why things are taking so long, why others seem to be progressing ahead of you, why your breakthrough feels like it is always just beyond reach. But delay is not denial. Delay is protection. If what you desire came too soon, it could overwhelm you. If opportunities arrived before you were prepared, they could crush you under their weight. Timing is a form of safety. Just as a fruit must ripen before it can be enjoyed, your journey must mature before you step into the fullness of what you carry. God intervenes by holding certain things back until you are ready, until the circumstances are aligned, until the right people are in place. And while you wait, the unseen hand of protection surrounds you, making sure nothing is wasted. Chosen one, safety is also in the people who are removed from your path. There are individuals whose intentions toward you are not pure, even if their words are sweet. There are people who smile but carry envy in their hearts. There are people who appear to support you but secretly wish for your downfall. And often, you cannot see these hidden motives, but God can. And so, He intervenes by removing them, sometimes abruptly, sometimes silently, sometimes in ways you cannot explain. You may grieve their absence. You may long for their return. But in truth, their departure is your safety. You are being shielded from betrayal, from manipulation, from energies that would deplete you. Learn to thank God for the people who leave, because in their leaving is your protection. There are times when intervention will feel like isolation. You may find yourself alone, separated from community, distanced from connections. But this isolation is not abandonment. It is safety. When you are chosen, you cannot be everywhere with everyone. You cannot be available to every voice, every influence, every environment. Your spirit requires boundaries. Your purpose requires focus. And so you are pulled away. You are hidden. You are kept apart. It may feel like loss, but it is really a cocoon. It is a space where your light is guarded until it is time to emerge. Isolation is not your enemy. It is your sanctuary. And when the time is right, you will see that this separation preserved your strength, protected your energy, and prepared you for the next stage. Trust is the key to walking through all of this with peace. Without trust, every intervention feels like punishment. Without trust, every ending feels like rejection. Without trust, every delay feels like cruelty. But with trust, you begin to see the patterns. You begin to recognize that every no was a shield, every detour was a redirection, every loss was a release. Trust transforms confusion into clarity. It transforms bitterness into gratitude. It transforms fear into peace. And chosen one, trust is the very thing you are being asked to cultivate. Because the interventions of God are not random. They are intentional. They are precise. They are rooted in love. And though you may not see it now, one day you will look back and realize that every step was necessary. Every closed door was mercy. Every ending was safety. Every silence was strategy. Do not fear what you cannot see. Do not cling to what is leaving. Do not resent the delays. Instead, rest in the assurance that you are covered. You are guarded. You are safe. Not because of your own strength, not because of luck, not because of chance, but because the one who chose you is faithful. His interventions are constant, even when unnoticed. His protection surrounds you, even when invisible. His safety is everlasting, even when misunderstood. Walk in that awareness, chosen one. Trust it. Trust it with your whole heart. Trust it with your whole journey. Trust it with every step. Chosen one, God is intervening to keep you safe. Trust it. So many times, what feels like resistance in your life is actually protection. You may think that forces are working against you, but in reality, there is a divine barrier placed in front of you to prevent harm. Some doors are not meant to open because they would lead you into rooms filled with shadows. Some paths are blocked because they would lead you into traps. And some relationships are prevented because they would only bring heartbreak and betrayal. What appears as resistance is often a shield, keeping you from places you are not meant to go. This is why you cannot measure your life by what opens and closes alone. You must measure it by the awareness that every closure is guarding your destiny, and every opening has been timed with intention. God's intervention is not random. It is strategy born from love. It is easy to misinterpret intervention as failure. The human mind longs for control. You want to believe that you can plan every detail, that if you put in enough effort, things will unfold exactly as you desire. But chosen ones are not permitted to walk in complete self-direction. You are under guidance. You are under a greater authority. And so even your best-laid plans can be interrupted if they are not aligned with your purpose. This is not failure. This is mercy. This is the hand of God removing what would take you off course. To trust intervention, you must release the illusion of control. You must be willing to let go of the idea that you know what is best for yourself at every moment. Because the truth is, your perspective is limited. You see only a fragment, but God sees the whole picture. His interventions come from the higher vantage point, and your role is not to fight against them, but to surrender to them. Chosen one. Divine intervention often shows itself through sudden clarity. Have you ever been in a situation where, all at once, your eyes were opened? Where something you tolerated for years suddenly no longer felt right? Where a relationship you once clung to suddenly felt unbearable? Where an environment you once accepted suddenly revealed its toxicity? That shift is not random. It is divine. It is God awakening your spirit to truths you were not ready to face before. And in that awakening is your protection. Because when your eyes are opened, you can no longer walk blindly into traps. You begin to see intentions for what they truly are. You begin to sense energy in a way that keeps you safe. Intervention is not always external. Sometimes it is the awakening within you that alerts you, warns you, and frees you before harm can come. That sudden clarity is love. It is safety. It is divine timing. Protection also shows up in delays that redirect your steps. How many times have you felt impatient with the pace of your journey? You may think, why is this taking so long? Why am I waiting when I am ready? But chosen one, waiting is one of the purest forms of safety. Delay shields you from walking into something prematurely. Delay keeps you from entering a situation that is not yet prepared for your arrival. Delay ensures that when you do step forward, the environment is aligned and the path is stable. If you entered too soon, you would not have the support, the clarity, or the resources you need. Delay is not wasted time. It is preparation. It is refinement. It is protection dressed in patience, and those who trust the delay will find themselves in places where everything flows because the timing is right. Many chosen ones underestimate the way God protects their energy. Not everything that drains you looks dangerous on the surface. There are people who smile at you but secretly envy you. There are opportunities that look golden but would exhaust your soul. There are environments that seem harmless but erode your peace. And because you may not always recognize these dangers, God intervenes by pulling you away. He creates distance. He shifts your heart. He makes it impossible for you to settle in what would destroy you. This is not cruelty. It is care. You are not designed to pour yourself into every person, every opportunity, every environment. Your energy is sacred. Your purpose requires that your strength be preserved. And so, divine intervention keeps you from scattering yourself where you do not belong. Safety is not only about keeping your body unharmed, it is about protecting the very essence of who you are. Chosen one. There are also battles you will never know about, because they were fought on your behalf. Forces you could not see were preparing to harm you, but those plans were dismantled before they reached you. Conversations about you that never reached your ears were silenced. Traps that were set for you were disarmed. Plots that were designed to destroy your reputation dissolved before they could take shape. You do not even know the extent of the danger you have been spared from. But if you knew, you would never again doubt that you are surrounded by protection. Intervention is not always visible, but it is constant. Your life is guarded by unseen shields, and this is why you are still here. This is why you survived what others could not. This is why, no matter how much opposition rises against you, you remain. Because you are covered. Because you are chosen. Because divine hands are always moving on your behalf. One of the most misunderstood aspects of intervention is when it comes through pain. Sometimes, safety requires that you be pulled away from something forcefully. You may not go willingly. You may resist. You may cling. And so the removal happens in a way that hurts. But that pain is not cruelty. It is rescue. It is God tearing you away from what would have cost you more in the long run. The wound of removal often heals into wisdom. The sting of separation often transforms into clarity. And when you look back, you realize that what once broke your heart actually preserved it. Painful intervention is still intervention. It is still safety. It is still love. Do not resent it. Trust it. Trust that even in pain, you are being protected. Chosen one, understand this deeply. Your safety is evidence of your value. The world does not shield what is worthless. Precious treasures are guarded with care. Rare jewels are locked away to preserve their brilliance. And in the same way, your life is safeguarded because what you carry is too valuable to be wasted. You may not always feel valuable. You may question your worth. But the very fact that you are being protected in ways you cannot see is proof that your life matters more than you know. You are carrying a light, a mission, a purpose that is worth guarding. And because of that, divine intervention will continue to surround you. You are too important to be left exposed. You are too rare to be left unprotected. You are too chosen to be left vulnerable. Every intervention is confirmation of your worth. Chosen one, your protection is proof of your worth. You are guarded because you carry something too rare to be left exposed. Trust the redirections, the endings, and the silences, for they are all signs that you are being kept safe. Walk forward with peace, knowing every intervention is love guiding your path.